F3 Nation. This week's episode is a little bit different. Caught up in the madness of the holiday rush and chaos, Italian Job and Tommy Boy, yours truly, sat down and we just talked. This is either going to be a really great podcast or a really bad idea. Either way, it was cathartic for both of us, and man, who's got it better than we do? Give it a listen, let us know what you think. Good idea, bad idea, somewhere in between. Regardless, this is stuff worth trying. Yeah, I'm just doing that. Like we're officially starting. Whether or not this is the start, I just feel like
this will be the start.
this is going to be today's episode, and I'm 100% okay with that.
Cool.
So let's do this. We're pulling the curtain back this week on stuff we're trying. It's been a week for a million different reasons, and we may get into a few of them. We may not, but Italian Job and I, right before we hit record, we're just talking about what are we going to do this week? We had a couple things fall through, schedules change with guests, and it's all good. We've got some great content lined up. Really excited about how I believe we're going to end the year, which is going to be a sit-down conversation with our M's to hear how an M experiences, processes, lives with, deals with, benefits from, ideally, F3. So that's coming. Today, IJ, you just said it before we hit record. These are the conversations that matter the most. This is you and me doing life, guys. When I travel, and I know you do too, with the Grow Ruck and work, which take you to other AOs, we get to meet a lot of great guys. Most recently, we sat down with the men from Wichita that I'm just enamored with, and can't wait to see what they do. And they always ask me, you and IJ must run deep. How long have you guys known each other? Where'd you grow up together? All these really funny questions, because we've only been in the same ecosystem, twice, three times, twice, I think it is.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's just one of those things, like oftentimes happens in F3, you meet a guy that you just are naturally drawn to and want to be inspired by and want to pour into in hopes of returning the favor, right? So let me do this. Let me just share with the nation. Actually, welcome to Stuff We're Trying. we're on Twitter, F3SWT. We're on Slack. We love hearing from you guys. We love hearing how you're disrupting the status quo. We love how you're pushing your regions to advantage. Like we do, you're not supposed to hold on to those secrets. If something's working, you are called, you are demanded to pay back this free men's workout by sharing it with as many people as possible. And this week, you and I have probably experienced F3 a little bit differently, but let me just do this. Rather than launching into looking good, feeling good, that'll come back next week.
There you go.
How have you been? What do you want to tell the nation? And then I'll go. How's that?
It's been a heavy week, man. The gloom's great, always is. I enjoy being in the gloom with the fellas. But towards the end of the year, things get a little bit hectic with schedules. There's just so many days left in the fiscal calendar. And so everybody wants a little piece of you at work. And then you're trying to figure out, okay, well, the kids are getting out of school. Who's going to pick them up? Who's going to be home? And so it's just, this is the stressful time of year. You're in between holidays. Family stress is always fun, with your trying to figure out how that's going to work out, who's going where for the holidays, but also trying to figure out, I have two small kids. What do the kids want for Christmas? How are we going to arrange that to happen? But with the stresses of work and just it's heavy this time of year. But I know that just recently there's something heavy that's been going on in your home region in Greensboro that kind of helps us to center our attention on things, to realize, man, who has it better than us? Nobody. We say that, but at the same time, you realize how blessed you are when you find out that something happened to a guy, a brother in the gloom. So talk to me, TV. What's gone on recently? Where did you go today? That kind of helps us to set our minds right as we're heading into the holiday season.
Yeah. Uh, I experienced F3 in a really profound and beautiful way today that has happened from time to time. I don't know why it resonated so much. I probably do. So I'm in Shield Lock with a guy in our region that tragically lost his older son, 28-year-old son, the week before Thanksgiving. And I received the first phone call, which was can you give me a ride? Long story, but can you get me a ride to my son's apartment? We just got terrible news. And it rocks you to the core, right? Because maybe this is be prepared for the expected to be prepared for the unexpected, because I had no idea what to say. And you're drawn to say the perfect right thing. At least I am. And I had nothing to say. And it just it just kind of rocked me a little bit to think, am I unprepared, or is this a moment, one of those thin moments in life where me as a Methodist am really, really close to God because it's so raw, right? It's those thin moments. In Irish culture, they call it a thin time. And we talked, we figured out plan of action, so on and so forth. And then just a wave of being broken for my friend and knowing what he's going through, or not knowing at all, but only imagining what he's going through. So we rallied around him. We did some pretty special things in the gloom. I happened to have a cue that week. He had reached out and said, are you queuing tomorrow? I need to find my routine again. I need to be with the guys. And it was really special what happened. Guys just showed up. I made a few texts, right? And just said, hey, if you're able to post tomorrow, one of our guys needs us. I didn't give names away or anything. I just said, we're needed. And guys in droves showed up to the workout, no questions asked. And we got a chance at COT to really just shower and surround and love on one of our own. Fast forward to today, which was the celebration of life. And it was spectacular. From family, it was a Catholic mass, traditional Catholic mass, one of my firsts, right? Beautiful sanctuary. I was way out of place. I felt like I was at a workout, lots of squats and sitting and standing and kneeling, and felt like it was like prisoner get-ups and all. I was like, wait, is the Monsignor calling in cadence?
It's Catholic aerobics. It's what it is.
Got it.
We're Lutheran, so we're Catholic light. So it's stand up,
yes.
sit down. It's part of the in cadence. The Lord be with you, and also with you. Stand up, sit down, squat. Yeah. You're doing it right. You're doing it right.
Got it. Yeah, I just follow directions. When in charge, take charge. Monsignor took charge, and I was like, oh, in cadence. But looking around the sanctuary, I lost count at 53, and I'm sure other regions that I know have experienced losses are thinking, yeah, we did that too. And that it was that very real moment that the phrase, it's more than a workout, came to life for me. And walking upstairs to the reception to follow just the line of dudes. And it ultimately became this giant huddle around our own. And people started asking, what are you guys about? Who are you guys? And what is this thing? And I love not having a real good answer. Well, we're this, but we're also that. And I could tell you we're this, and we're so much more. And I don't know, man. You and I were at the meeting, and all the while going back and forth, like, oh, we lost a guest. We may have a guest. We may have a thing. What about an old episode? And I think the best thing to do is just hit record and just kind of put it out there. This may be the shortest episode ever, and that's fine. Because I realize time and time again how truly fortunate we are to have a group of men who are our friends and our brethren to be around us. And we're only as fortunate as we give into it and receive from it. I'm probably not alone. I'm really bad at receiving compliments. I'm very self-depreciating, and I'll swat down a compliment like a gypsy baby. No, I was just doing this, or no, I'm just doing that, or I just need to say thank you.
You and I both have said this when people say, hey, I love listening to stuff we're trying. Like, oh, Tommy Boy does all the heavy lifting. Tommy
Yeah,
Boy
Italian
does all
Job's
the
the
work.
guy
No,
that
you're
puts all
part of this
together.
too. And we say the same thing about the other guy, because if it's good, I didn't have anything to do with it. If it's bad, yes,
Yeah.
it's on me. This one was a train wreck. It's my bad. Maybe what makes it makes it resonate with us is we see it in society where it's completely opposite. The things go well, the boss takes credit. Things go poorly, Tommy Boy screwed that one up. I'm gonna have a conversation with him, put him on a performance improvement plan.
90 days.
But you mentioned sitting around that church. That's it. We're gonna get them straightened out. But you're sitting around that church and you're looking around. You lost track at how many of the F3 guys. I've been to a couple F3 funerals, and there's just something about pulling up to the church and seeing a whole line of shovel flags in front of the church. And you go in and you may not even know anybody. I remember when Cheech down in the Columbia, South Carolina area passed away. I'd never met Peach. I'd never met Cheech. But man, he was one of us, just one of the guys, and just tears well up in your eyes. One, because we lost a brother, but two, because the amount of love, and to hear someone in the pulpit say, he loved F3 and he was loved by the men in this church. You're just looking around saying, that's it, man. That's it. That's one of those things. I want everybody to have it. I want everybody to have a group of men that are more than acquaintance, more than a beer in the cul-de-sac, more than, did you see the game last night? I want something real and tangible. I want somebody to sit across the circle from me and say, hey man, I haven't seen you in a while. You okay? And actually want to know an answer. Not one of these, hey man, how you doing? Like legitimately a phone call or a text message that said, I'm worried about you. Is everything all right? That's the stuff I want to give away. The Merkin's great, burpee's great, running great. None of those things
I
are
don't know
really
about
great, but we
burpees
do
being
them.
great. But,
Yeah, that's good.
Running sucks, but
running's terrible. But it's it's hard to describe to a stranger more than a workout group until you go to an event and you see these guys who, dare I say, wait for it, love each other, care for each other, literally care about your well-being. How's your son doing? How's your daughter? How's your wife's business going? To actually ask the questions showing that they care enough versus, hey, it's the end of the year, man. Can you believe it? Yeah, it's just flying by. Yeah, I'm busy. Got a lot of stuff. Got a lot of plates spinning. I'm just staying on top of it as I can. Well, good to see you, man. Have a great week. I want more than that. And I get it at F3.
Yeah, it's not water cooler talk. And it's not Civic Club talk, right? Civic Club always ends with, if you're in sales, ends with you going back and entering data into your CRM, right? Because you're like, oh, I got to remember that Shirley in accounting over at this firm, her daughter's about to go to blank school, right? Or I hope I remember that next time I'm around her. There's no transaction other than love when it comes to this thing. We had a heavy time. Like right after Thanksgiving, another guy announced that he's got 1 in a million version of prostate cancer, right? And it doesn't look good. And everybody, what can we do? What can we do? I don't know what to do or how to be. He just said, I just need my community. Just text me whenever, send me a fart joke. Just don't let me forget that I've got my community, because I'm going to be fighting, and I know you guys are going to be fighting with me. And then last night I had
I've got an F3 brother that.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, brother. Sorry. No, I've got an F3 brother that every single day sends me a meme. Just sends me random memes. He's my meme guy. And if I don't get a message, I'm like, what's going on with White Hat? I haven't heard from White Hat today. What's going on? I need to have something to laugh at. It's what we do. And it's just knowing he does it because he cares. Right.
It's the rhythm, right? It's the rhythm that makes up the fibers of our DNA, or what has become our DNA. And it's up to us, again, to remember how lucky we are. And we have to, you said earlier, like we're so fortunate. And it's like, and that's why we have the episode that talks about how and why to EH a guy and to stay consistent and to stay on that guy. Because that guy won't know until the first time he shows up, maybe the third time he shows up, or maybe like me, a month in, he's about to quit. and somebody just does the thing that nails it home. And that's the importance. Last night I had the honor to cue Closing Time, which is our we had the King and Gridlock on in a previous episode.
Yep.
And, and the first two guys there after I drove the shovel into the ground were Gridlock and the King. And the King came barreling to, Tommy boy, I miss seeing you because I hadn't been out Thursday nights in a while. Huge bear hug from this guy, right? And it just totally grounded me. Even though I was all up here in the treble, my bass note showed up, right? And just said, remember, you're a part of this thing and you matter. And we did a workout. We shared at COT about our guy who lost his son and what time the service was and all that. And guys who hadn't heard the news, immediately were just like, how can we be of service? So the COT ended, and I had not planned this. I said, we say it all the time when we lose somebody or there's a tragedy. Tell your kids you love them. Tell your wife you love her. Tell your family you love them. So we always have this epic second F where we go out and eat and fellowship together after Thursday. And I said, your homework as we leave this AO is to call somebody and tell them that you love them. Between here and the restaurant, it's a 15-minute drive. That's plenty of time just to say, I want you to know that I love you. And I'll be asking everybody around the table at dinner, who'd you call? And it was awesome, right? It was just awesome to hear the stories of the guys, not because they did it, but because I got to learn who they called and why. And it was just great. And I think that what I am drawn to with our relationship and how we co-host this podcast is we get to hear those types of stories from guys across the globe. And I may never meet 90% of our guests in person, but getting to hear and thrive off of the energy that they put out when talking about their F3 experience is pretty damn cool. And the fact that our experiences have crossed paths is pretty damn cool. And you and I were texting back and forth on Thanksgiving. It's like, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, how dumb is this? I'm texting this dude that I've only met in person twice. And now they were big meetings, right? It was Grill Rucks and it was powerful. But to have that chance encounter and it blossom into a lifetime friendship is pretty awesome.
That's right.
And something to be thankful for.
I'm honored to be able to meet so many of our guests, even if it is virtually YouTube for us to record this type of stuff over Zoom. But I'm always honored to meet the guys and hear the passion and realize, Tommy boy, you know this. You post in a region that you've never been before, and it feels like you're in your home region. The guys genuinely love, concern, and care for you, who you are, want to know who you are, want to know about you. And I just don't get that anywhere else. I don't. Tommy boy, you have a story, and I know we've mentioned it at least once before. It is probably my favorite story of all F3 stories. And that's the story about the bagger and the CEO. That was your story, right? Yeah. So tell the guys, this is F3 in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Tell me the bagger and the CEO.
Yeah. We had a Wednesday morning workout in boot camp. We had a VQ, Virgin Q, and young guy who was a bagger at if you know Fresh Market, and he was doing fine, right? It was what you want a VQ to be about. We were open, we were course correcting. He was plowing through, and he put effort into it. It was a tough workout. It was not perfectly led because he was nervous, and that's perfect. That means he wants to come back.
Never done it before. So
100%. So COT happens, and he just he shares, I've never believed myself to be a leader. And today was a great opportunity for me to see myself in a new light and lean into myself and believe in me. And knowing that you guys believe in me and see me as a leader is really powerful. And somehow, actually, he said, I'm getting my life back on track, and all I'm doing now is stocking groceries at a Fresh Market. But I know that I've got a path, and this has been a big step in that journey. Well, what he didn't know, and what the guy who stepped into the circle immediately just found out, was that the CEO of Fresh Market is a longtime F3 Greensboro guy. And he said
Unbelievable.
that. He's like, yeah, I'm the CEO of Fresh Market. And what an honor to meet you today. And if I had you and maybe one other person like you, I wouldn't need anybody else, because these are the kind of people I need to know that are taking care of our customers. And it was
Goosebumps,
awesome.
dude.
Oh yeah,
Goosebumps.
huge hug. I
Goosebumps.
mean, tears. The guy fell apart. It was just awesome. It was awesome. And
Where else? Where else
yeah,
does the bagger lead the CEO?
yeah,
Where else does the guy at the lowest of the pay scale
yeah,
lead, and the guy who's at the top follows the guy at
yeah.
the bottom? Nowhere else.
Nope.
Nowhere else but at F3.
That's why I'm excited to see us land in countries like Japan, right? Where there's just a different culture when it comes to hierarchy, and to be able to hope that we disrupt those sort of things so that guys can be unlocked and serve the greater good is, I mean, that's phenomenal, dude. It's like, it's so dumb to think about sometimes how incredibly fortunate we are. And again, I'll say it all day long. We're only as fortunate as we give in and receive from it, give to and receive from F3. I mean, that's the whole point of the conversation today, just to be able to say that we are just a workout until we're not. And we are called to make it not just a workout. And when we do, there's countless stories, right? There's books yet to be written that will come out of those types of stories. It was a workout until I did blank, and then that became this exponential force in my community that may have echoed across the country, across the globe. Who knows? But yeah, maybe that's my Christmas wish to Santa: is may everybody who hears this podcast today find their UP, their ultimate purpose. Yeah. And may that come from F3. Maybe it comes from somewhere else, but I hope that it comes from the fact that you tuned in and you're like, oh yeah, there's work to be done, and I don't need to wait for somebody else to come along. I can be the person that starts the ball rolling, right?
Yeah, and you're not alone. That's the great thing. You're not alone in these endeavors.
Yeah. And you said it last time we recorded, right? The guys from Wichita said it. No one is coming.
No one is coming. Correction. No. One is coming. One is coming.
Be the one.
That's it, man. I mean,
that's our F3 Nation shirt for next year. Somebody get on the design right now. The F3 Nation shirt is no one is coming.
Oh, so good. It's so good. Nowhere else in society do I see things and I think somebody should do something about that. I mean, somebody should step up and stand up to that bully. Somebody should clean up this roadway. Somebody should do a thing. And then at F3, it's like, be that somebody. Just do that thing. If you want it done, be the change you want to see. And oh yeah, by the way, you're not riding solo. You've got the guys right next to you. When you're high, you're there to lift the guy up who's rolling at the bottom. And when you're down, just be willing to reach your hand up, because a guy's going to be there to lift you. When you lose a loved one, a situation that you just experienced with, don't you know, losing his 28-year-old son. He needed, you may not have known what to say at that moment, but your presence was what he needed. It was not the words that you didn't know what to say. We are always looking for the right words. We want to say the right things. Sometimes silence is golden. Sometimes just being there means so much more than the words. You could have the best words, and you know what? Somebody's going to remember, when I needed you, you were there.
Yep.
No one is coming.
Amen, brother. Well, this might be my favorite episode yet. And if anybody else has problems with that, then, send us an email for the first time ever.
Hey, sometimes we just gotta off script and be raw and just, life is hard, dude. Life is being a dad, hard. Being a husband, hard. Being a leader at work, hard. Yeah. You know what's easy? Being around guys who love me and support me, and guys like you. I mean, who has it better than us, Tommy boy?
No one.
Nobody.
No one. All right, Podpaxers, quick homework assignment. If you were to sit down with your wife, your partner, and ask them what F3 means to them, what would that be? Send us your questions because that's coming up. And if you made it this far, good for you. We can't express enough how much we want to hear from you and what you're up to. Because again, there are men across the globe that are looking for the thing that you're holding on to. Our excess is somebody, or I'm sorry, our abundance. Let me say it that way. Our abundance is somebody else's necessity. So don't hang on to it and give it away. Italian Job. I love you, my friend.
I love you, brother.
Podpaxers, be good or be good at it.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.